Hey, greetings everyone. So I wanted to get a hop in, and this time of year I like to go up north to Duluth. I've got some stuff up there I wanted to shoot video of. And so I headed to my usual catch out spot, and for going up north anyway. And people ask me a couple of questions pretty regularly. One of them is, how do I know where the trains are going? And typically you don't always know exactly, but if you go to a rail line, then you can count on the trains on that line belonging to the rail company that's running the trains on there. The only place they're going to go is somewhere else on that line. So generally speaking, I'm going to catch out on Canadian National, headed north on Canadian National tracks, and hope I've chosen a train that will get me all the way to Superior, Duluth. But that isn't always the case along here, but usually I get close. A lot of times people ask me why I like to ride intermodals. And there's a whole variety of reasons of why I prefer intermodals. One is that the trains don't tend to stop and work yards very much along the way, where general manifest trains oftentimes work along the way, and you run the risk of getting dropped off somewhere. Besides the fact that they don't travel as fast, and you can run into issues on general manifests that you rarely run into on an intermodal. One of those is having a car that hunts. And believe me, you don't want to be riding for 5 or 6 hours on a car that when it hits 50 miles an hour starts shaking the hell out of you. So I prefer intermodals because they go faster, they go further, they don't tend to break up or work along the way, and they're much more comfortable to me. I just don't have issues with the ride. Once in a while, of course, you get flat spotted wheels, but that happens on anything. So anyway, I headed down to the catch out spot, and took the bus to Chicago, and then Metra to down south of Chicago, and then a city bus to get to my catch out spot. And my water jug blew up on the city bus. It's like, what? How does that even happen? So anyway, I had to make a special trip to Target to get a new jug. I got a thing of Arizona iced tea, poured it out and put water in it because it does work as a nice water jug. So I missed my intermodal train. So I had to ride a manifest. I rode junk. And here we go. Well, this junk train pulled in. My original plans were to wait on what I think is a daily intermodal, but my water blew up. I had to go to Target to get some more, and I'm not sure if I've missed it or not. So I walked down this thing a little ways and found a beautiful high wall grainer covered hopper, and I'm going to go ahead and get on that. It's got some bare tables on it, and I would hope that might suggest that it is headed on back to Canada at some point. So we're going to see, but I'm going to get on it. If the intermodal pulls in, I'll look for a ride on that. But in the meantime, we got this one. My new water jug. I just bought some Arizona iced tea and filled it with water. I think the lady in the parking lot thought I was nuts dumping out a brand new thing iced tea, but I need the water worse than I need the tea, and I didn't want to have to carry both. These things usually sit here long enough that I shouldn't have to rush. And if it were to leave without me, well, maybe that's just an omen to let it go. A highway rail vehicle drove by on this siding earlier. I wasn't hiding or anything, but I wasn't out close to the tracks either. This grass will trip a guy for sure. The way it grows up across here. If I remember right, this car isn't very far down here. So hopefully I can just whip my pack up in there and we'll be good to go. So here's this car. Now, I don't know what's going to be easiest, trying to get up on here with my pack on. Gotta maintain your 3 points of contact at all times. Oh man, that is a very, very nice wall. don't like riding junk. We pulled into a yard and we've just stopped. Power's still connected. Hopefully I didn't get seen. I've been just staying down for the vast majority of the time, but all it takes is one grade crossing. Yeah, so there's a string of cars to the left. Similar string of cars to the right. And then here we are. I see a signal bridge way down there. And it may be that we're just waiting for some kind of clearance or something. But I don't know if that signal bridge has anything to do with us or tracks on the other side.
On the ground protection, line for 5. Need about 10 cars. Sorry, everyone. Ground protection back up 10,000.
They're doing a brake test and some other stuff.
Start making your move. Train on East Yard 2. They'll be pulling here shortly.
And that's us. We're getting ready to pull. So we'll be out here. talk about a moron, man. I just didn't want to believe that I hadn't been traveling north for 4 hours. And it was obvious, though, finally settled in that there is no Galesburg, Wisconsin. You're in Galesburg, Illinois. You are now officially stranded in probably the third largest rail yard in the country, big hump yard. And you got to get out of there. So I did. I headed to Galesburg, the city, the Amtrak station, and headed back to Chicago to repeat this process the next day. A little Groundhog Day action. So all in one video, you see why I prefer the intermodals. You don't get the crap shook out of you. They generally don't work yards, and I've never had one get handed off to a different railroad. They do that on occasion, but generally you're going to know that ahead of time. So the other part of the question is, how do you know where the trains are going? Well, sometimes you don't. Anyway, stand by for heading on north. Take care, everybody.